All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Prowler in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Now, Prowler is, in this Insomniac verse, he's first introduced in the Miles Morales game. When he's introduced in the Miles Morales game, I was quite pleased as to how they actually showed the character. They brought his arc around because the Into the Spider-Verse movie, in my opinion, had one of what I think is the best unveiling of, a villain character in Prowler. They really did a phenomenal job just showcasing how the danger was so close to Miles all that while, and he didn't really know it. I mean, you got to go watch that movie again. It's such a, the presentation, everything is so cool. In Miles Morales, the game, Insomniac brings him in, and he achieves this really cool arc. But one thing I think that the writers failed to do is, in terms of continuity, they did not necessarily do a good job in actually continuing this character's arc. All because they come up with this writing excuse that, Prowler is now obeying, his probation, and hence he's got to sit this one out. So what I decided to do was I pulled some footage up so we can see Prowler. Shout out to Boss Fight Database. I have a clip of this, by the way. It's in one of my hard drives. I put it somewhere. I can't find it because I played the game and I recorded on a hard drive and I just put it somewhere. And so I can't find it. So Boss Fight Database, you're holding a brother down today. But one thing I really wanted to point out was when you compare continuity in the way you actually build characters over multiple, video games, especially if they have a sequence, you really have to showcase, the fact that you don't want gaping holes in your, in your material. And I'll do myself a favor today and say, okay, let's just do a comparison of continuation with another superhero video game that is, in my opinion, very much comparable in terms of story or in terms of just pacing anyways, overall, like how they, put out their trilogy and how Marvel Spider-Man 2 put out its trilogy. And we'll see if there's something that was missing with, a character like Prowler. And if we actually do a slight comparison, I think one character that you can say was introduced in the Arkham games and they continued her storyline and eventually, it came in a bigger circle and was very impactful to the story, that character is Poison Ivy. Now, I come back to Poison Ivy a lot because the truth of the matter is, and I want to say it, but I've been very cautious to try to say, but I think Poison Ivy is probably the hero of Arkham Knight, the story as a whole, in terms of, achieving victory over the biggest threat that Batman actually did face, which was Scarecrow. Because Scarecrow was basically controlling, the Arkham Knight. The Arkham Knight, I don't think, was the biggest threat. The Arkham Knight just had a vendetta against Batman. He just, but in terms of like the biggest threat overall, Scarecrow wanted to take out everything. Wanted to take out Gotham and then take out everything around Gotham. So he held the biggest threat overall. And to be honest, if it wasn't for Poison Ivy, there's just no way Batman would have been able to achieve exactly what he achieved. But we have to also go back to the unveiling of Poison Ivy. She was pivotal in kind of creating the rogues gallery that Batman was going to face in the Arkham series from Batman Arkham Asylum. And from there, she creates and has this beef with Selina Kyle. And then we see her in Arkham City, where she also has a role to play. Not one that is way too significant, but she still kind of helps them out. Think about it. There's something that they're trying to do. Poison Ivy shows up and, adds a little bit of, mama's cooking to the whole recipe. And Batman and Catwoman are able to go in and, achieve some of their goals. So little by little, she's adding, she's creating these layers. Even though there's animosity, she gets to throw hands with Batman, throws hands with Catwoman. There's still the fact that she's still a pivotal and useful character overall. However, we see Prowler and he's basically a one and done. And by the time we get to the second game, he's giving Miles a whole bunch of, go do this stuff. I'm going to give you some technology and some other stuff. And it seems like they just abandoned him. And I'm wondering, with all of the action that was going on in the Spider-Man 2 game, and especially the fact that when Craven is looking through this list of, people he's going to go dish out smoke to, we see Prowler among them. And he just basically is not doing anything. So I think this character was shortchanged because he had, in my opinion, a really critical role to play. But somehow the writers decided that they were going to sit him out. And instead, they put MJ in there. And, they do some really weird story beats. So I don't know. I'm just quite surprised that this is the direction they decide to take for this game. Maybe in the third game, they'll go ahead and, do something like that, where they use him and bring a story arc full circle. But to be really honest with you guys, man, I think Marvel Spider-Man 2 was a big opportunity that they could have actually used to bring, this character to light and really make him, in my opinion anyways, make his character arc be really impactful in a different way, or at least in a way that allows continuity to make a lot of sense. But, it is just my opinion. But at the end of the day, like I, usually say, those of you who are in the Spider-Man verse, what do you think about the continuity with a character like Prowler? Do you think the character was properly used, or do you think the character was sidelined, after all is said and done? I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.